Hey, I'm Candace Scalise. This is CBS 21 Next. We have team coverage today working on a double shooting that happened Monday night in the city of Harrisburg. And we now have a suspect in custody. And we have more developments about both of the victims, in fact, in this case, in two separate shootings, but the same suspect. To break all that down for you guys, I'm going to bring in TJ Anthony and Maxine Rose. Maxine just finished up speaking with the Harrisburg Police Department. And Maxine, what did you learn about these two shootings that happened last night from police?
Let me unmute myself here. Yeah, so first and foremost, we learned from Harrisburg police that the two shootings that happened last night are connected. So that was confirmed today that the suspect in those two cases, that person's name is Javar Jeter. So we know that the incident first happened on North 18th and Park Streets in Harrisburg at around 6 p.m. And then approximately 2 hours later, police were called to UPMC Hospital for a report of a gunshot victim there. They had found out that that person was shot, according to an affidavit, at a nearby smoke shop. I believe that's in the 2400 block of, I believe it said Market Street. So they did the investigation separately in those spaces, but ultimately, again, came to the conclusion that the person who is responsible, they're now saying, is Javar Jeter.
Okay, we know he's 32, turned himself in regarding these shootings. And the person, we know
Yes.
the person in the first shooting died and this person in the second shooting is in critical condition. Is that correct?
Yes, that is exactly right. So in the first case, Javar Jeter is facing first-degree murder in among other charges. The second one, at this very moment, just because we don't know hour by hour the condition of this person, but at this very moment, critical condition. So that's criminal contempt attempt.
Yeah. TJ, you spoke with the father of that homicide victim today. I'm sure that was emotional. Can you tell us a little bit about that and his son?
It was extremely emotional interview to do. I got a chance to speak with a couple family members. I got a chance to speak with the dad, Isaiah Daniel. There's a picture of him and his son right there. He just described him as being just so close to his son. He said, his son made him want to be a better father. His son was an incredible sibling to those siblings you see right there. And he also was a graduate, Candace, in this area. He went to a high school in Cumberland County. He graduated recently. Really, his dad spoke so highly about his son. His name is Rakib Watson, and he really just truly meant so much to his family. And that was definitely something that you could tell, especially during the interview.
Yeah. Do we know anything, TJ or Maxine, about what happened in these shootings, the reason behind the suspect firing these shots, or anything about any encounters between the suspects and the victims here?
Go ahead, TJ. I don't know if you have anything further to add, but I can tell you what police said. So you go first.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, what happened yesterday really was a shock to the family. That was something they did not even expect to happen. The dad even told me he heard the shots go off, immediately jumped up because he had a gut feeling something happened and it may have involved his son. So he rushed over to the scene only to find his son lying there. He was able to hold his son, he said. So you'll get to hear that powerful interview and just more about those last moments that he had with his son tonight at 6 o'clock. Maxine, what do you have? What did police tell you?
Well, we had heard last night on the scene that, from a witness who was there, that a fight had really started all of this. And that is confirmed in the affidavits we received today,
Okay.
stating that there was a fight between the suspect, the victim, and I believe one other person, and then the witness who was there trying to break up this fight. And again, this is the incident we're talking about here is the initial one, the North 18th and Park Streets one. The affidavit states that they had separated, uh, gunshots had been fired. The suspect then went up to the victim, Watson, and had stood over him and shot him again. So in both cases, we know that there were multiple gunshots that were fired. That was something that Gouch made very clear. Lieutenant Gouch being the PIO with the Harrisburg Bureau of Police, just stating that there were multiple rounds, though it is not clear at this point whether it was the same weapon that he had allegedly used in both of these cases. It's
Okay.
also not clear whether police have been able to get their hands on that weapon.
Mhm.
But again, yes, the suspect did turn himself in after they had posted a crime watch stating they had a warrant out for his arrest. And he is, on his way to Dauphin County booking. He will be arraigned and then he will be held without bail, of course, because of that initial murder charge.
We know that we have his mugshot on our CBS21.com website on our page there. What do we know about this second incident where the person last check is in the hospital in critical condition? It sounds like from police that they didn't know each other, that this could have been more of a random shooting.
Yes. So in that first case, we're under the impression that everybody kind of knew of each other. But in that second one, it's believed to be random. So what we know from the affidavit is that there was a carjacking. So
Okay.
it seems to be at this point, the suspect had run off from the scene, right? Police had not had him in custody yet. This is 2 hours later. And then at this smoke shop location had asked for a ride somewhere, and the person in the car said, of course, no, who are you, and then the carjacking had happened. And police also state in that affidavit that surveillance footage inside of the vehicle shows this fist fighting between the two of them, and then shots had been fired. The victim in that instance was shot. I believe there were 2 rounds of shots fired, and he was hit in his head. So he was dropped off afterward at UPMC, and that's where everything then, kind of unraveled with police.
Okay. I know there's a lot to piece together here, and I know that during that interview with police today, they were pretty tight-lipped about a lot of the investigation because it has been less than 24 hours. TJ, did Watson's dad, the victim here, who was killed, did he say anything about why he thought that his son could have been involved when he heard those gunshots? Or was it just his gut feeling that his son was in trouble? Did he explain any of that?
No, he really did not know why. That's still, major question he has regarding this. It was kind of just a gut feeling once he heard those shots go off. He knew his son was out at the time. Yeah.
It's
And how-
interesting that you say that. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you
No, go
off
ahead.
on this, but it is interesting that you talk about it's unclear really kind of whether he was in any trouble or not beforehand, because no one really even knows how this fight even started. We had asked the witness there last night who was trying to pull them apart, what happened? What was the conversation? What were you hearing? And even that person was not able to say, okay, it was this moment, this happened. But from what the witness told me last night, it was only that gun that they had seen, be pulled out in that moment. So definitely nothing really that would have been assigned to anyone in those moments. Like we got to get out of here. It just
Sure.
kind of, it that appeared and things started, and yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what police learn about how everything started and what the cause was and everything. Did Watson's father share with you any important memories, TJ? I know you talked about him graduating and being a sibling and stuff like that. Is there anything else you want to add from that conversation that you had with him today?
I mean, really, some of the most, the biggest thing he said, was really that he was only 18 when you think about it. And the suspect in this case, we know is in his 30s. So that was a lot to kind of wrap their minds around, his family when I spoke to them, just that age gap right there. He also just said his son had so much of his life ahead of him. He was really just getting started with his life, figuring out what he wanted to do. He had a lot of dreams, a lot of aspirations that he wanted to accomplish. And then when I asked his dad, I told him, actually right before the interview, we did learn about the suspect being taken into custody. So I asked his dad, I said, we just found this information out about the suspect. Do you feel as though this will help bring you closure and you're, one step closer to possibly getting justice? And he said no. He said
Oh, wow.
no. That does not make me feel like that. Really, he's just totally heartbroken about this.
Yeah.
It was really hard for him even to get through the interview. That's how close him and his son were.
Yeah. I'm sure too, especially, I mean, it's been less than 24 hours. He's probably still in somewhat of a shock, with these families who are going through the death of a loved one, especially as a parent. So I applaud him for opening up and sharing his son with us in these photos too. I think that's going to do it for us for now. I know we're going to get ready for our 5 and 6 o'clock newscasts, and we'll have more on our website as well with more details and everything. Is there anything else that you guys would want to add that you've learned today as you've both been working on this story, as you've been working on different parts of it or anything?
I don't have anything further. As you said, Candace, things are very limited. Details are very limited in this investigation, being that it's just less than 24 hours. So we're going to continue to ask for more information. We are waiting for the preliminary hearing, the arraignment, any other updates that will happen in the coming days. And of course, as we learn those, we will update you both on air and online at cbs21.com.
Yeah, I do want to add this right here. The family did set up a GoFundMe. They are raising money because they're getting ready for their funeral for their loved one. So they are raising money for him right now. So, they're just asking for donations, especially during this hard time. That they said would be very much appreciated.
I'm sure, definitely. Well, thank you both so much, TJ. Thanks for talking to that family for us today. I know those interviews can be tough on both sides as we continue to learn more. And I, with these kind of things too, it's like you want all the answers right away, right? You want to know what happened. I mean, fortunately, we have the police say did all of this in custody, so that's the silver lining here. But certainly thinking about those families who are grieving now and that person who's in the hospital. So we'll have more live from both Maxine and TJ at 5 and 6 tonight. And then, like I said, you can head over to cbs21.com. We'll put a lot more details there as we continue to learn more there about this double shooting that was connected simply by the suspect who fired the shots, police say. So as soon as we get more updates and more information about these, we'll continue to keep you updated too. Thanks for joining us for our CBS 21 Next. I'm Candace Scalise.